Hey everybody, this week on Up Your Alley, we've got two great recommendations. First, Jake's recommendation for me, the new online cooperative game FBC Firebreak. And my recommendation for Jake, the podcast Switched On Pop, specifically the album talking about Seth MacFarlane's new album, The Lush Life, and the interview with Seth MacFarlane. And that album, Jake had a lot of...
The episode.
Jake had a lot of work to do.
Yeah, you gave me two things.
Yeah.
I'm never going to let you forget that.
Yeah, I know. It's too many. We're going to talk about that. We've got some movie news and catching up. Jake, anything to add?
No, I'm good.
Nah, we're good. It's too hot to be too high energy.
It's very hot.
I'm
very sleepy.
It just saps it right out of you, doesn't it? Mm-hmm. Hey, everybody. Welcome to the show. If it's your first time listening, thank you for joining us. My name is Taylor Edgar, and with me, as always, is my best friend, Jake Baggett. Say hi, Sleepy Jake.
Hey, Bubby.
It's a show where we recommend things to each other, and we come back the next week and rate them on a scale of 1 to 3 based on how much it's up our alleys. Again, I had Jake listen to an episode of the podcast Switched On Pop, hosted by Nate Sloan and Charlie Harding. And Jake had me play a game that we played a good bit together over the past week.
Yeah.
FBC Firebreak.
You got a notebook in front of you with words crossed out except for Dodo and Mr. Whoopi.
You want to guess what that is?
That's going to be Auntie Donna.
No.
What?
No, this is so...
yeah, Lord Whoopi.
Yeah, that's Lord Whoopi. So this
One of
was
my favorite sketches.
Me playing the Grand Theft Auto 3... Definitive Edition.
Right.
And you have that garage where you have to steal all the cars.
Uh-huh.
And I forgot that in old-timey games, you can't, like, there's no mission tracker or anything like that.
Yeah.
So I had to break out the pen and paper. And
Yeah.
these are the cars I have to look for. It's kind of nostalgic. I'm like, I remember doing this when that came out.
Do you remember how to get the Dodo to fly?
No, I don't. But I'm trying to unlock the third island. First of all, I forgot how quickly this game moved.
You hold down on the plane.
Nose down?
Yeah, you let the nose go down until the propeller like almost hits the pavement, and you let go and it pops up.
Right, because I think after that they're like, hey, this is really hard, and now planes are just going to be easy to fly.
Well, the thing was, like, apparently they clipped the wings due to 9/11.
Really?
Yeah.
Huh.
That was
because they thought that's exactly what the first thing they're going to do is a 9/11.
Yeah, that was the rumor on the streets when we were kids.
And now whenever there's a game where you can fly an airplane, there's immediately 9/11 memes.
If you can make something in a game, there will be a 9/11.
People have recreated 9/11 in Minecraft. Like,
there goes our monetization right there. Really fast.
Who cares?
It's so good.
We're doing fine.
We said 9/11 like 5 times.
So I know that there was a Spider-Man game, the Spider-Man Enter Electro for the PS1. That was like changed because I really like those games. Those were the ones where like Bruce Campbell was doing the opening narration.
Yes.
Like they were good games.
But it was Spider-Man 2
Enter Electro
had World Trade Center.
Right. The final battle was on the World Trade Center.
Well, they had what do you call it? A memorial. They put it a memorial in for the World Trade Center.
Right.
It was really cool. So that's really nice.
But they delayed the game because like the whole finale was swinging back all around the World Trade Center.
It wasn't called Enter Electro.
I'm pretty sure it was.
No.
You want to bet?
Yeah, sure. It's just called Spider-Man 2.
No, I'm talking about the game, not the movie.
I'm talking about the game.
Okay.
Yeah. It's called Spider-Man 2. It was good on PlayStation 2. It was even better on Xbox because you could see reflections in the windows.
Oh, you are thinking of Spider-Man 2 based on the movie Spider-Man 2. I'm thinking of Spider-Man 2 Enter Electro.
Yeah.
For the PlayStation 1.
I never played that one.
Okay, that's the one I was talking about. Spider-Man 2, that one was great. That was like the first open world
Spider-Man swingy.
Yeah, no, you are absolutely right on that. Spider-Man 2 based on the film Spider-Man 2. That's correct. All right, miscommunication. No one was wrong. No one loses any points. But yeah, speaking of movies and stuff, we do have a good bit of movie news that just came out hot and fresh today.
I'm going to guess it's going to be about Jurassic Park.
No, it's not.
Wow.
I mean, that news is just all good, and that's just coming like a babbling spring rolling down a mountain.
Movie good. Extra.
No, Amazon and MGM announced that they have found a director for the new James Bond.
Yeah, Denis Villeneuve.
Okay, here's what I want to say about that. One, I like it.
Yeah, sure.
It'll be interesting. I think this, and now, of course,
I like Denis.
The internet discourse immediately goes to who's going to be playing James Bond. Mm-hmm. I think getting the good director is better than getting a good actor. I don't think James Bond is a character that needs, like, because everyone's still asking.
I think it relies on the actor so much.
I mistook that. By not good, I didn't mean not a good actor. I mean not a name.
Okay.
Like, I think if they're learning...
Daniel Craig wasn't, like, a big name.
Exactly.
You know?
But with Daniel Craig bringing James... And Pierce Brosnan wasn't really a name when he did it either. Like, he was known in Britain, but he wasn't, like, an international movie star. But people throwing around, like, Aaron Taylor-Johnson's up the top of the list. Henry Cavill's still at the top of the list. I think they need to do...
Henry Cavill's American, isn't he?
No. He's super British.
Oh, okay.
He was in The Tudors when he was young. He played Lord Culpeper.
He was in the Count of Monte Cristo.
Yeah.
So he's probably French.
No, he's super British. I've seen him build a computer on the internet.
Oh, yeah, everybody has.
He's delightful. I think they need to do what James Gunn did. And by James Gunn, I mean DC. Whereas they're like, hey, we know this guy who has an idea for what to do with this franchise, and then just let him cast, a guy who's good, like a working actor, like David Corenswet. Because everything I've seen about David Corenswet, every time I've seen him as Clark Kent or Superman, again, this movie hasn't come out yet. We could be proven wrong in 3 weeks. That
His name's Corenswet?
Corin.
Oh.
Corenswet.
Weird.
But he's, a lesser known actor. That's the kind of guy you need to find for James Bond. It doesn't need to be.
I see what you mean.
Like as cool as I think Idris Elba would be as James Bond, I don't think it needs that.
Somebody who's just a good actor.
Yeah, I think getting the director right is a good idea. Because even like Chalamet was famous before Dune, but he Dune made him to where everyone knew who he was. Like he was just doing kind of artsy movies and like winning Oscars and stuff like that. But Dune made him. They're having Timothée Chalamet lookalike contests everywhere. But yeah, I'm super excited about this. I hope Amazon does well. I'd love a good James Bond movie.
I'd say it's toss up if it's going to be good or not.
See, you're like most things are toss ups at the end of the day. It's rarely.
Well, for me, I'm saying like they could do well, but I could also see it easily going the other way, where there's just too much corporate influence onto it that it becomes a mess.
What percentage of James Bond movies do you think you've seen? I don't know, there's 25 that are out now?
Maybe 3 or 4.
3 or 4 movies total?
Yeah.
Oh.
I don't really watch James Bond movies.
I think I've probably seen over 2/3 of them, just because.
Maybe I've seen all the Pierce Brosnan movies, and
that's 4 right there.
Like 2 Daniel Craig movies.
You never gone back to like Connery or Dalton or anybody like that?
No.
Roger Moore. See, I went through it with when GoldenEye came out, the game specifically, not so much the movie. The game made me want to watch the movie.
Yeah.
And then I kind of went through a Blockbuster video phase where we would just go and rent a lot of them. Basically, anyone that has a level based on it in GoldenEye or a main character, it's like, oh, I got to see the one where Jaws is there, or I got to play the one with Baron Samedi, so I could get the references of the video game.
Yeah.
And then I never saw one of the Craig movies, Quantum of Solace. I walked out of the theater.
Yeah.
Because I was just unhappy, and the 2 people I was with were unhappy. And they were both like, can we leave? And I was like, yeah, I dragged you guys here, and I will follow up on this later. And then just never did.
I saw Casino Royale, right?
Great movie. Probably in my top 3 favorites.
And then I didn't see Quantum of Solace. I saw the one where they were in the house.
Skyfall.
And I like that one, too.
Did you see the most recent one? The No Time to Die? It's good. I think it's one of those things where the good thing is you won't have to go back and watch any of the other ones, which is something that I've been reading about a game that came out this week that you're interested in, the Death Stranding 2 on the beach.
Uh-huh.
What are the odds? It comes out, what, tomorrow?
I thought it was already... Yeah.
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 You gonna
play it?
Break out?
I'm going to try and beat the first one again.
See, okay, so that's the discourse that I've seen is, and I think it's something with Hideo Kojima as a game maker where... Like Helldivers 2, when that came out, everyone's like, you don't need to know anything about Helldivers. Just jump into this. With this game, a lot of the reviews that I've seen are like, you really probably should play the first one because Kojima does not handhold the lore and the nonsense that's going on in the world of this, what is seemingly a pretty simple gameplay loop where you're just a delivery man.
Well, yeah. But you also have to. Have you ever played it?
Yeah. I played the first one for a couple hours when it came out on when they announced this one at the Game Awards last year or 2 years ago, whenever it was.
It's very wild that you have to, avoid invisible monsters.
Exactly. So where you're like, oh, it's a really, really good-looking walking simulator delivery game, but there are these invisible monsters, and if someone dies, there's a nuclear explosion, and there's this weird liminal realm where your sister may or may not be.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's interesting. It's not the biggest Kojima game that I'm excited about this year.
It's getting good reviews.
It's getting great reviews.
Gene Park said it's great, and I
that's
trust
the
that
guy. That's the guy you trust with your.
I trust that guy enough. If he's like, I liked it. Did I tell you when I started following him?
No.
It was his review of Final Fantasy 16. I was following him on Twitter at the time, and he was just, I wasn't following him then, but he showed up on my feed, and he was just talking about how it's a departure from the series, and it's pretty linear, and it's missing some of those core elements that makes it a Final Fantasy game, and somebody was like, if you hate it so much, just don't play it. And he's like, my 5-star review is on the poster that they It's like, these are just complaints. They're not detrimental to the game. I think the game itself is great. I just have these gripes.
Right.
That's what I like about it.
I feel like we're going to have that statement about a video game coming up here shortly.
Yeah, maybe. I guess so, huh?
Yeah, we might have to. It's going to be an interesting review. The other bit of film news that I just came across my desk earlier too is Aaron Sorkin is signed on at Sony to write and direct The Social Network Part 2.
Oh boy, I didn't watch the first one. That's pretty cool.
It's a great movie.
I'm sure.
And it's Aaron Sorkin, who he's just one of the guys that I love him as a writer. Yeah. Because, I don't know, all of his stuff from West Wing, even back to Sports Night, Few Good Men, The Newsroom I loved. I've seen The West Wing through probably 3 times, the entire series. And
I've seen Moneyball.
Yeah, things like Moneyball. Just the way he writes is very aspirational. Like every Aaron Sorkin conversation in a film is, have you ever played back an argument with someone?
In your head?
In your head.
Sure,
like, I should have said this, or that would have been great,
all
yada,
the time,
yada, yada.
yeah.
Every Aaron Sorkin conversation is just the best version of a conversation that you could have written, where everyone's just so quippy and gets the references and the timing's just perfect. It's just so tightly written. I just really freaking enjoy it. The first movie was
Social Network 2.
Well, I mean, Zuckerberg's kept doing stuff. I mean, I feel like there's a kind of a fertile base there for being.
Think they're going to show him in a good light or a bad light?
I think they're going to show him on a surfboard with a bunch of sunscreen on his face.
That's a great picture.
I hope that's the poster. Just Jesse Eisenberg on a surfboard with all the white sunscreen on his face.
That guy is a really weird dude.
Yeah, he is.
He only has 3 friends.
Yeah.
It's really weird.
But Aaron Sorkin...
Right, guys. We all have 3 friends. Right, guys.
The best friends that everyone has? That you have to trick them into hanging out with you?
Yeah. Hey, we all have 3 best friends. That's it.
Sorkin did a movie, The Trial of the Chicago 7, that came out on Netflix a couple years ago. It was the first thing that I could remember watching that he directed. I don't know if it was the first thing he directed, but...
I think I might have watched an episode of that.
Yeah, it was really... Sacha Baron Cohen was in it, and it was just like a really good legal drama, which is just what Aaron Sorkin's good at writing.
Okay, then I haven't seen an episode of that.
It's about how at the 1968 Democratic Convention, there was a bunch of riots and stuff like that, and then 7 people get called in for instigating. He plays... Sacha Baron Cohen plays Abby Hoffman.
Borat.
Yes, that as well. And Thenardier in Les Miserables. But in this, he plays Abby Hoffman, the founder of the Yippie movement.
Does he go, my wife? Does he do that?
Deadpan, straight to the camera like Jim from The Office. And everyone had a big laugh.
Hey, guys, can we wrap this up, please? I have to get home to my wife.
And that's what I knew Aaron Sorkin is an amazing director, as he is a writer. Yeah. All right. Anything else been going on?
No.
Normally this is when we talk about games we've been playing, but we've been playing the same game.
I've been playing Clay Obscure,
which you're loving.
And it's a really good game.
I've been plodding my way through Metal Gear Solid 5 in hopes to complete it before Metal Gear Solid Delta comes out.
What made you want to go back to Grand Theft Auto 3?
It popped up. Was free, and it was. So I was in this weird thing where with Metal Gear Delta coming out, I thought about doing the Master Collection, but the reviews, I haven't seen reviews like that mixed in a while. That sent me down a YouTube rabbit hole for what is the definitive edition of the Metal Gear games, which there's several 30-minute long YouTube videos, all with over 1 million views of people arguing what is the definitive version of the Metal Gear games.
All right.
And all of that obviously is just because Delta's coming out. And so I was going from there to other remastered games.
Yeah.
And the Grand Theft Auto 3 one came out, and someone had posted, they're like, oh, well, it came out and it sucked, but then they fixed it.
Yeah.
And I think I mentioned this when we talked about it a couple weeks ago. I'm like, it feels like how I remember it looking, but then when you look at it side by side to what it actually looked like in 2002 versus what it looks like now, just like reflections and stuff like that, and the world seems a lot more alive, and you could read the signs better. And it's a good remaster.
Yeah.
Like, I like it, and it's fun, and it's a fun little game, and it's kind of fun going back and remembering how small, quote-unquote, open world
Liberty City is.
Yeah. It's just one of those things where it's like, okay, it felt like, oh, this massive open world at the time, but we've gotten so spoiled with what an open world is now. Like
I feel like I could navigate my way around.
Oh, yeah,
it's 3 still. You know what I mean?
It's muscle memory. It comes back to, I'm like, oh, wait, there's always...
I feel like I could do the cheat code pretty easy.
I haven't tried the cheat codes. I'm trying to get little trophies, which I know you have no interest in.
No.
I'll get some trophies. But yeah, it's fun, and it plays really well, and I'm just having some fun going to it when I'm like waiting for stuff to upload on the computer. I'm like, oh, I can go into that for 20 minutes, whatever, and just play a little bit. But it's just a small game. So yeah, that's just kind of how I worked my way down to it was free on PlayStation and just started playing it again.
Played the hell out of that game.
So much fun.
Yeah.
That was, I think, kind of a fun moment for myself and my older brother, because that was one of the first games that I remember being okay sitting and watching someone play just because it was so new. And by that point, my brother had a PlayStation 2 and I had an Xbox, and it didn't come out on Xbox until
much later.
Like a year and a half later, I think.
I think it came out with Vice City. I can't remember.
In a duo pack. I think you might be right about that.
That feels right.
But the cool thing about the Xbox was, since the Xbox had the hard drive, you can upload your own music to it.
Yeah.
And then Grand Theft Auto had a custom radio station where that would play your own music. So I was driving around listening to Rancid, thinking, this is the definitive version of Grand Theft Auto. It's the Xbox one where I'm driving around.
I was very jealous. Yeah.
Well, speaking of video games, let's get into our first recommendation.
Okay. You want to talk about Firebreak?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I do want to talk about Firebreak.
Okay.
Which we've talked about Firebreak because we've been playing Firebreak.
Uh-huh.
So, Jake, throw this out. Like, fill the people in. You know more about this world than I do.
So it's from Remedy, and that's what made me excited to play it, just because it's like, I want to support that team. They made Alan Wake 2, which is one of my favorite games, and Alan Wake, Max Payne, and for the sake of this game, Control, which is also a fantastic game. And this takes place in Control. You're like in the old house of Control, and you play these guys that go and try and clean up anomalies that have gotten wild.
So if people don't know, because I think Control is probably their least known game.
No, Quantum Break would probably be their least known.
Okay, yeah, I haven't heard of that, so you're absolutely right.
Yeah.
So Control is, you're playing a woman who goes into this nondescript government building, the FBC, the Federal Bureau of Control.
Jesse.
And you're going in there to try to find your brother. It has big X-Files vibes. I also get vibes of the BRPD from the Hellboy universe, to where essentially this whole entity, the Federal Bureau of Control, exists to contain paranormal threats to humanity. And it has its own lore and everything like that. It has different levels. Levels like going into the building, and eventually you go like super deep underground, and then they've got a missile silo and all this shit, and it's just essentially in a building that looks just like an office building. Yep. It's a fun world.
Yeah, very good. And it's a very cool game. And I was excited to go back to it. And they were like, we're making a squad-based shooter out of it. And I was like, that sounds interesting enough, you know? So, and it was like $30. So I was like, yeah.
Control is
it's worth a shot, to say the least.
Yeah, because first off, Control is a third-person game where you get like psychokinetic powers, and you could shoot
superpowers.
Eventually, yeah. You turn towards the end. I talked about Control. I just happened to play Control. You recommended Max Payne, and that was a game I had a hard time going back to. If people want to go back and listen to that episode, whenever that was, and I just had stumbled across Control on the PlayStation Store. It was free. Downloaded it. Played through that game. I loved Control.
Yep.
I love the lore. I love the progression of your powers. And it was really just fun. And at one point, when you finally unlock your last superpower and you just get like total control, death metal song comes in, and you're just
Old Gods of Asgard.
Yeah, power fantasy, just like you're hyper unlocked. There's no ammo or anything like that. It's the exact equivalent of in one level in a shooting game, like, all right, now you have a Gatling gun, and you just get to mow everyone down and have fun. Since I liked that world so much, I was excited when I heard about this. And this is a first-person squad-based shooter, like you said, whereas Control is a very good narrative single-player game. I think this kind of is hopping on the train of Helldivers, where it's like, how can we take a good IP and make a good game you could play with your friends?
Well, make something where you need to do the objective while an increasing amount of enemies start flooding the game. Mm-hmm. So you're a bit of the only time crunch that you really have is, eventually you're going to be overwhelmed, and you don't want to be overwhelmed.
And you're going to run out of reinforcements or whatever.
Yeah.
So the people you are playing as are Firebreakers, which essentially they're disposable grunts, just like the Helldivers, where it's like, hey, you got to go in there. But there are 3, I guess you would call them classes.
The story doesn't really tell you much, which was kind of a little bummer. But it feels like they've been stuck in the house. Because like
there's like a lockdown procedure or something like that.
Just hear them say, like, hey, remember when we used to dress normal? Mm-hmm. And I was like, oh, they must have been doing this for a while.
Well, that's the whole theory of a firebreak. You build a firebreak into a house or a structure or something like that, where it's like, okay, there's a fire inside. Everything that's inside the firebreak is going to burn down, but the fire's not getting out. So that's kind of where I took the term to mean. It's like, hey, the fire breaks up. You guys are screwed.
Okay.
But whatever's in there isn't getting out.
I see.
Which is the fun paranormal threat aspect. What you're saying about the lore being established, if I hadn't have played Control, I wouldn't know what the hell is going on.
It's definitely a game for the fans.
You
know?
Which I feel it's made for and it's priced for. Like, they're not trying to be like, hey, this is an $80 game that you're going to have to pay, or this is a free game that you're going to have a monthly service. It's, again, I keep coming back to Helldivers, but it's a reasonably priced game. It's fun. You get your friends on. You're going to play. As far as mechanically the game, when this game is working...
Let's go right from the top. I would say it's a little confusing trying to get stuff rolling.
Yes.
It's hard to set up a match with somebody.
It's not. Well, it's not that it's hard.
More
it's just
needlessly complicated than it needs to be.
And it's not intuitive.
Yes.
There's something with video games now where
always
most of them,
create a party and always end up starting a mission from there.
Right.
When I was like, I just want to create a party. I do it at least once when we're trying to play together.
Always. And I did it like 3 times in a row when I was trying to set up the party.
That part it's a little frustrating.
Yeah.
Then you get into the gameplay when you can get it working.
We were having issues on it. Said error on the back end.
Yeah. On one day, we could barely get it playing at all. So we had to call it quits.
When we first booted it up, it was fine.
The first time we played it, it was good. We played it a little bit, and we were having a good time. The second time we played it, we could not keep a standard. We couldn't finish a single game.
Try for like 45 minutes.
Yeah. And then yesterday, the final time that we've played it so far.
Until later tonight.
Is this... It ran really well, except it kicked us out once.
Yeah.
And that was right at the end, too. So that was very, very frustrating in its own way. The gameplay itself, though, is pretty fun.
It's very fun.
The guns don't feel, other than the double barrel shotgun, or maybe even the pump action shotgun, all the other guns don't feel really powerful or like very helpful.
No, as soon as I unlock the pump action shotgun, though, to be fair, that's all I've used.
Yeah, right. I tried using the hunting rifle a little bit. It's way too slow, and so you kill like 5 people at a shot, where I'm killing like 10 to 12 with the double barrel.
Yeah,
if you know how good you are. It's fun how chaotic it can get, and when we get a game going, I was really enjoying myself. I have played it a good amount. I'm like level 20 now or something.
Yeah, you are. You're crushing it.
And I'm having a good time, but I can't get by how broken it is. It's broken still.
I wouldn't say it's all the way broken. It's definitely going
getting
through
better.
some growing pains.
Yes,
one thing we noticed is there's one enemy in it specifically.
Yeah.
That if there are 2 of those enemies it's a Hulk enemy essentially.
Yeah, something where you can only attack its back.
Yeah, it's the hunters from Halo 1. Where they have like a kill switch in their back. But in Halo, if you shoot them right there at that time, it's hard to shoot them right there. But if you do, they're down. This one, it's like the first night that we played, we were both like, how the hell do you kill these things? They're almost impossible. We were losing so many reinforcement lives. And then when we played last night, both of us said, they've made these easier to kill.
Yeah, they must have made them easier to kill.
There is a patch update.
So there feels like there is improvements happening, but I don't know. We had 2 very frustrating tries at this game. And it's a problem that I have with online games mostly is that these things seem to crash a lot.
Yeah.
And it's upsetting to me.
Playing with you was a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Obviously the last game that you got me to play like this being Helldivers 2, which I stayed with a lot longer than you have.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of that is when I played this by myself with randos, this with randos is not nearly as fun as Helldiver with randos.
Yeah.
I think Helldivers, and this is something I hope they change. I hope they change because I love this world. And when, like we've said, when this game's rolling, it's really fun. There was a time last night when there was like, you and I were playing, there's like 50 random dudes. There's guys floating around in chairs, and there's like just little frost monsters coming at you from everywhere. It's fun. You saying it's chaotic, perfect example. And the guys just teleport in. It's so much fun to do. But with Helldivers, it seemed like there was a lot more intentionality with your loadouts.
Yes.
Whereas this is like, I'm the guy that's the electrician, Jake's the guy with the wrench. I fix power thing, Jake's hits stuff with his wrench, and that fixes it. Because essentially you're coming in to be handyman. It's like, here's the problem, you guys got to go in there and fix it. And there wasn't any real need between, there are 5 different, I guess you would call them stories, 5 different modes. Missions, yeah. That all have 3 parts, and they level up. And that's a fun little progression system.
Yeah. It feels a little like Helldivers 2 with its easy, medium, and hard.
Yeah.
Actually feels like completely different missions
For
than
sure.
it does.
And then randomly there'll be a haunted object that comes in and it's like, okay, now gravity's less.
Yeah.
And you're like, oh, this is kind of a fun little twist.
Yeah, those are
just
fun
like
stuff.
in Helldivers where like there's an ion storm, you can't call in your ship.
Yeah. There's fun stuff to be had here.
But there's not as much of a, like, Helldivers has its own subreddit where there's this huge meta of what's the best loadout. Well, if you're doing this mission, then you need to have this gun, and then you want this armor for that perk, yada, yada, yada. It just doesn't seem like it has that, and I'm hoping it doesn't have that yet.
Helldivers 2, like, you have your own ship, and you control your little guy to walk around the ship and check out your stuff. It'd be nice to have that in FBC.
Right.
You know, just first-person guy walk around and go to my
Your
loadout
office
and
or
stuff.
something like that. Yeah.
And then just
And there already
time to
does
step
seem
up
like,
and get in there.
like, you pick your missions on a whiteboard. There are 5 different ones you can pick from, but there's space for 6. So it's like, okay, there's more content coming, I hope. I really
They
hope...
have more content coming, and they said it's free.
Right, which is how a game should be if it's a continuing online game.
Yeah.
There is a way that you can buy stuff. I'm not going to buy anything for this game. Yeah, I really, 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 really hope this game doesn't die.
I don't know. Oh, well, yeah, I don't want any game to die. I would like to...
But I'd like for it to keep getting better.
Yeah.
Because I got you back into Helldivers a couple months ago when I'm like, hey, you got to come fight on Super Earth. It's the only time you're going to be able to do it.
Zombies are so fun.
They are
in that
so
game.
fucking fun.
Those strafing jets are crazy. Like, that stuff is there's so much crazy stuff going on.
It's
in there.
bananas.
They want that in Firebreakers,
which is hard to do in an enclosed space.
yes.
I get,
and I want that for them as well.
and that's the other thing about Helldivers is Helldivers. You have missions where you're fighting robots, where you're fighting bugs, and when you're fighting zombie aliens. Mm-hmm. This is the same enemies in different objectives.
You have the hiss in every mission.
It's more like in Super Mario. It's like, yeah, you're underground now, but it's still just Koopas and Goombas. They're just coming at you in a different place.
And
your missions are more or less the same. Fix this thing, do this, whatever. There's like different little things. Like one of them has a giant Post-it note monster at the end.
The Post-it note one's very... I would push back a little bit, say that these things are pretty unique from themselves. Like, the first one is the normal repair thing. The second one's the Post-it notes where...
There's a boss
good...
Yeah.
There's a good strategy is just... You're destroying the Post-it notes. A good strategy is just run and get all the Post-it notes connected to your body and go shower them off. You know, that's great...
No. Yeah.
The third one was...
minecart.
Throwing pearls into this minecart that are radioactive. You know, there's good variety in missions.
And then you have like a big pink ooze that's fun.
Yeah.
But I'm just saying the enemies that come at you.
That ooze one was really good.
It is fun.
That was
especially
really
at
fun
the end
one.
where it starts coming back like really quickly.
Yeah.
We had a blast doing that.
Yeah, that was a highlight.
But I'm saying the enemies. Like it's always the same.
It's always the hiss. Always the hiss. Other than the Post-it note man.
Right. That's what I like, how there's a boss at the end of that. It's like when you do
well, there's also the Post-it note men that run around.
Yeah. Which is just
they look
hilarious.
great.
Yeah, and it's great. They're running around like a Bigfoot made of Post-its. And
I like
when
you're overwhelmed by Post-it notes, you become a Post-it note man as well. Mm-hmm. This stuff's really fun.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's a great. So on our rating scale,
yeah,
I'm gonna give it a 3-ish.
I'm waiting on it.
You're waiting?
Say.
That's unfair that I have to make a decision and you don't.
Yeah, well, you're the one that had to play it.
That's fair.
I decided to play with you.
Oh, that was mighty magnanimous of you, Jacob.
Yeah.
Yeah, I really like this world. And I think it's good. If I hadn't have played Control, I don't think I would have give this a second shot. Because in one of the, where you have to like close off these, if you don't know anything about this game, it sounds like gibberish, but there are these ice anomalies that you have to get butane heaters and kill the ice anomalies, and then you have to find mannequins to throw into a haunted ski lift because that's what the ski lift eats.
Yeah.
Those are real objectives that are said to you.
Very fun.
It's all very fun. But when we were walking to that world, I was like, I remember this fake like Christmas town that's built up like a stage where it's just like a stand-up, house with nothing behind it.
Yeah.
I remember this from Control. So I was like, oh, this is great. I remember this part. I remember all the sticky notes flying at you from Control. If I had no frame of reference to this world, I would be like, what the fuck is this? This game keeps breaking. It's not fun to play with people you don't know. I'm out.
Yeah.
And I really hope that doesn't happen with this game.
I hear you.
Because I have a lot of fun with it. I have a lot of fun playing it with you.
I had a lot of fun playing with you.
It's fun I do like the fact that even on the harder difficulties, the squads are 3 people. You can make it work with 2.
Yeah.
It's not like Helldivers where if there are some higher difficulties of Helldivers, if you only have 2 people, you're fucked.
Yeah.
Like they'll just
we haven't tried a higher difficulty yet, so
there's I may make a little addendum at the end of this and be like, nope, we tried the higher difficulties. This game's fucked. Someone come play with us. But yeah, I mean, it's a blast. I liked it.
Well,
I like this world.
I'm happy you played it with me, man.
Yeah.
I appreciate that.
I think I still stand by what I said when we talked about Max Payne, where I said they should have made a Control movie instead of making a Max Payne movie. Because I like that world so much more than the world of Max Payne.
I don't know if they're still in the talks with Alan Wake becoming a movie.
Yeah?
Yeah. Because something with Annapurna, the team that got the rights for the movie, I think they had a lot of layoffs. I can't remember all the stuff. But yeah, they were going to make a movie out of Alan Wake.
Control could be a series, too.
Well, I think Alan Wake is in the Control verse.
Mm-hmm. He is. Is he in the Max Payne verse too?
He wrote Max Payne.
That's what I'm thinking about. Yeah. So they're all loosely connected.
They're all
Yeah. I like it.
They connect it really cool, really well.
Right. It's almost like they're a house that has a set thing of what they want to do, and they talk with each other, and it's not just random nonsense. And then I couldn't even sit down and watch Ironheart without being bored.
What are you talking about?
Because they're actually doing stuff and working together, unlike Marvel, which is just putting out stuff and everything. I'm like, there's a chance this could be good, guys. Stop.
Yeah.
Stop.
That's your fight. Did you watch Thunderbolts?
Yeah, I loved it. I went and saw it by myself because you wouldn't go see it with me.
Yeah, I don't want to.
It was great. But I wouldn't make you watch Ironheart because I'm just like, eh.
I don't know what Ironheart is.
It's the new Marvel television series. Riri Williams, who builds her own Iron Man suit. She was in Black Panther Wakanda Forever.
Meh.
It's going to be a bit much. I'm more excited for
Superman.
Yeah.
Boy, howdy.
Superman is still my second most anticipated movie of the summer.
After Jurassic World?
Dinosaurs, baby.
That's weird.
Dinosaurs, baby.
It's going to be... No, I don't
It's going to be the best out of those three movies.
It's not saying much.
It's going
to be the stinkiest fart out of these three farts.
If I had to say something, I think out of Fantastic Four, Jurassic World, and Superman, Jurassic World's going to make the most money. Superman's going to be my most favorite. Fantastic Four is going to be the one I will defend the most.
Superman is going to make the most money.
You think so?
Yeah.
More than Jurassic World.
Everybody's anticipating that movie.
Everyone's anticipating Jurassic World.
Nobody cares about Jurassic World.
I do.
Nobody.
All right.
I don't hear diddly squat from nobody online about Jurassic World.
I got to. Dinosaurs, they sell themselves.
It's more Superman.
Yeah.
And occasionally Fantastic Four. But
they released another
Superman.
trailer, and the thing has a beard.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Rock beard?
Yeah, it's a rock beard. You
Does it have tiny rocks hanging out of it?
No, it's just the rocks kind of grow long.
In the movie?
In the movie.
Why? Why does he have a beard?
I don't know.
Okay.
Probably a time dilation, and that's how they end up in our universe, and that's how they get to meet Tony Stark, Doctor Doom.
Oy.
Yeah, it's going to be a lot.
It's not going to be worth
I
it.
think that's why Superman has it going for it, where it's just
because it's just going to be a fun little Superman.
And it's a clean slate. They don't have to worry about anything.
Guy Gardner is going to be our big bad.
I like it. I really like it.
Fantastic.
All right. Firebreak gets a 3.
Great.
I love it. I loved it. It's fun. I hope it works. I hope it doesn't die. I hope they keep working on it and make it better and making it so it doesn't kick us off all the time. Oh, that's my other big pet peeve. In Helldivers, if I set up a Helldivers game and then my internet takes a shit, everyone else gets to keep playing.
Yeah.
2 times in a row, I joined a random game with someone, and then the host leaves the party, and the game just dies.
Yeah.
I know nothing technically about how to make online games work.
Yeah.
But the fact that I know one game can do it makes me irate when other games can't do it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
If that was just a rule with games where it's like, hey, the host left, so it doesn't work anymore.
Yeah.
But I know Helldivers can do it with 4 people, so y'all can figure out how to make it work with 3.
Helldivers itself is like hosting itself. You know what I mean?
Is that what it is?
And we're like joining into it.
Like a
You could think
Fortnite.
of it that way a little bit. Yeah. Kind of like a Fortnite.
So why can't Firebreak do that?
Not how they set it up.
Huh. All right, well, fix that too, because I'm sick of some guy quitting when he dies twice in a row, and then everyone else has to quit too. This is my biggest pet peeve with
Great point, though.
This is my biggest pet peeve with Grand Theft Auto Online. Like someone leaves the heist, and then you're fucked. And it seemed like some people were doing it just to be griefers that like get to the end of the heist, and then right beforehand they'd quit, and then everyone fails the mission.
When did you stop playing Grand Theft Auto Online?
I came back to it at some point last year for a little bit. I think it's after I saw the trailer for Grand Theft Auto 6.
Oh.
But I don't even have it installed on my PlayStation anymore.
Okay. Yeah, I haven't touched it in years.
Yeah.
I think I've only played it on the PlayStation 3.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
God, so you skipped a generation with Grand Theft Auto.
Yeah.
You didn't miss much.
No.
All right, let's talk about my recommendation for Jake. Episode of the podcast, Switched on Pop. Mm-hmm. Frankly, Sinatra Matters is the name of the episode, hosted by Nate Sloan and Charlie Harding. So I only recommended one episode of this podcast to you.
Yes, you did.
An episode where they interview Seth MacFarlane, and they're interviewing Seth MacFarlane because Seth MacFarlane has a new album out called The Lush Life, The Lost Sinatra Arrangements.
Just Lush Life.
Lush Life. Gotta love it. And so Seth MacFarlane, who people know from Family Guy, American Dad, Ted, Million Ways to Die in the West, just generally being the Orville, which is...
I watched an episode of the Orville.
It's great.
It was very good.
It's very great. Yeah. That's the thing. Seth MacFarlane is maligned because of how badly South Park burned Family Guy.
No. That's a bad take.
No, the take is people always point...
Family Guy got boring.
Right. But and then South Park pointed out, and it was one of those things where it was an Emperor Has No Clothes thing, where once Matt and Trey pointed out, you're just like, oh, yeah. And every now and again, like Family Guy will pop up and there'll be something on my Instagram reels or something, like someone will just edit a clip and it's like, oh, kind of funny. Am I going to go sit and watch it? No.
I haven't seen a single thing. It's still on, I
Yeah,
guess.
it's still on.
So-
American Dad's still on.
I've seen more American Dad than I've seen of Family Guy.
American Dad's a funny show.
It's all right.
Soren Bowie from Cracked writes for American Dad.
Hey,
He's
good
one
for
of the
him.
head writers. And Ted, I'm a defender of Ted.
haven't watched any of them.
Even the Peacock original TV series is very funny.
Yeah.
But Seth MacFarlane in this, who if you've watched Ted or Family Guy or anything like that, the music in it is always great. Like Family Guy itself has a full symphonic score. It's not just just canned music. It's a live orchestra that they're recording in every episode. And Seth MacFarlane's always loved theater and this type of music, like Frank Sinatra. The story behind this, which is why I wanted Jake to listen to the podcast first, is because it kind of sets this album up. It's not just Seth MacFarlane singing Frank Sinatra songs. That's every other one of his albums, where he goes through like the Great American Songbook and just does them, and they're good.
This is him singing Frank Sinatra
But
songs.
there's more of a story behind it.
Yeah.
So this is, and Seth says this in the podcast, in the interview, and he was friends with Frank Sinatra Jr. Frank Sinatra Jr. was on Family Guy. And when Frank Sinatra Jr. died, Frank Sinatra's sister, she got the rights to all of their dad's music. Mm-hmm. And she came up to Seth, said, we found all this stuff. It's like 1,200 boxes of unrecorded arrangements that Frank Sinatra had made and people had written for him, and he had helped write and compose, yada, yada, yada. And he had just never recorded. So it's all of this composition. Seth MacFarlane takes it, finds a producer, finds an orchestra. They go to where they record Family Guy and like, let's just parse through all these, find some songs, play them, see what they're like, and make an album. And that's what he did. I have a big soft spot for this style of music just because my grandfather listened to it. He was the one that kind of got me into Sinatra. Like he would be, driving in his Lincoln with a Frank Sinatra tape, and it would be tape side A would go over, he'd flip it over, pop it in side B, and we just go back and forth with that. Like pretty much any time I was in the car with him, that's what I remember. I think Seth MacFarlane does a great job. I think this album is great if you like this style of music, and I just wanted Jake to listen to it.
Yeah.
For some reason, I thought you hated Seth MacFarlane, but I feel like that was another friend of mine.
It's not that I hate him. I'm not interested in basically 90% of his projects,
Fair enough.
including this.
In this?
Yeah. I know he sounds like Sinatra. I know he's got a baritone.
I don't think he sounds like Sinatra.
Oh, yeah. He sings Sinatra songs all the time.
Right, but I don't think he sounds like Sinatra. Sinatra sounds like he's been smoking his whole life, which he was.
He sounds like Sinatra.
Yeah.
And like, if that's your thing, that's great, but it's not my thing. You know what I mean?
Really?
Yeah.
What'd you think? What'd you take away from the podcast?
The podcast, that it's interesting. Like,
Yeah.
Frank Sinatra is a very cool singer, and he did do a lot of really cool duos with a lot of people that were awesome. I do like how Seth MacFarlane talks about how Frank Sinatra was his introduction into orchestral music. Mm-hmm. He's like, this is before classic music before he would say that he liked classic music.
Yeah.
You would listen to movie soundtracks and Frank Sinatra to get a big band sound. And like, that's very fun to hear.
Yeah.
I think he did do a lot of work, and was cool to hear too. And the interview felt like it was just kind of like tacked on at the end there. It felt like they didn't have a whole lot to say to each other in the interview.
Yeah, I mean, the interview wasn't more like a long form. It wasn't like sitting down for like a long interview.
Yeah.
My one gripe with the podcast is it does something that I feel is, I mean, some people would say it's a benefit, but I feel like it's overly produced. Where like Seth MacFarlane, when you were talking about like how he would listen to music, he'd be like, I listen to people like John Williams, and then it would cut and play like 10 seconds of a John Williams song.
Yeah.
And it's like, or this song by Frank Sinatra when he sang My Way, and then cut and play My Way.
Yeah.
Where I'm like, that's not my favorite style of podcast.
Yeah.
I feel like it's a little spoon feedy.
Well, I hear you because they do use it pretty well.
Yeah.
To like show like here's an example of how Sinatra sings and how he holds out on his A's and E's and oohs when he sings, and like now that's all I can hear because it's not something that I really thought about. But I mean, it was cool to see. It was cool to hear about.
Yeah.
That type of stuff.
What'd you think listening to the album?
And I thought it was fine. Like this isn't my type of music, you know. I think Frank Sinatra, he's either singing about a place that he went to or a woman that he misses or just like a very good day.
So you're talking about 2 songs on the album, Arrivederci Roma and Flying Down to Rio.
Yeah.
There's a lot of that.
It feels, it gives me less love for New York.
Yeah.
Because it feels like he was just going, all right, what's a city I can sing about? Hey, Roma.
What about the song Chicago, My Kind of Town?
That's crazy, man. And then every other song, my favorite song is the song where Seth MacFarlane is singing for like 3 minutes about how good a day it is. He's like,
that'd be the song "A Wonderful Day Like Today."
Yeah, he's like,
it's very out of character. I think
I am going to hug everybody. I am going to buy everybody lunch. This is such a good day.
But that comes in between. What you're saying, you're absolutely right.
Yeah.
That every song's either about a place he's been or a woman who doesn't love him anymore. Literally, the track listing is Flying Down to Rio, How Did She Look, Who's in Your Arms Tonight, A Wonderful Day Like Today, When Joanna Loved Me.
Yeah.
Just goes back and forth. Where it's like, she's never going to call.
Yeah.
She broke up with me. I'm going to go to Rio.
I heard you saw my ex-fiance.
That song's a fucking heartbreaker. Like, that's a good song. And
every song sounds like it's a drunk crying.
Yeah. That's the 50s, man.
it just
that was the 50s.
It goes on and on and on. I heard you saw my wife. Was she pretty?
The specificity of that song
with me.
The specificity of that song is really fun. So they talk about this song specifically in the podcast as well, which is why I kind of dialed in on it. It's called How Did She Look? Where the opening line is like, I heard you ran into my ex-fiance.
Yeah.
Where very specific, and you could tell it was written like that. It's like, you could have changed that. You could have said girlfriend. You could have said best gal or anything else. But it's so specifically written, and then start asking about the guy she's with. I'm like, this person was going
pretty.
This guy was going through it when he wrote this song. Like, this is like taken out of someone's diary.
It's a lot.
And also, the song's written from the perspective that guy accosting someone and be like, hey, I need to talk to you.
Yeah. It's
very assertive. It's a fun song.
You were with my ex-fiance.
I heard you see her.
Yeah.
But I mean, Dylan has a song called If You See Her, Say Hello, which I think is one of his best songs. And it just seems like a angrier, drunker guy version of that song. There's a story, what this album made me think of. There's a story with one of our friends who knows way more about music history than I do told me this story, so it might be wrong or apocryphal. I'm not sure. But when Bob Dylan was up and coming, he went to Arlo Guthrie's old house, Woody Guthrie's old house, when Arlo was a kid. And he's just like, I heard your dad has a whole bunch of old songs up there that he never recorded. Let me have them.
Yeah.
And Woody Guthrie's wife was just like, no, go away, you random man that came up in the rain to try to get this music from me. But it was Bob Dylan. And then they ended up making that album. Wilco made that album. It's called Mermaid Avenue. But yeah, it just kind of reminded me of that. And I think I
mean, that stuff's kind of cool. Definitely.
I thought that the lost media aspect of it would intrigue
the provenance of it is really fun.
Yeah. That this guy who has all this money, being Seth MacFarlane, using his power for good in a way where he's like, hey.
He's digging into his hobby. His
right.
hobby is he sounds like Frank Sinatra, and he loves that.
He's a talented guy, too. He's
talented. He's a great singer.
Good baritone on him.
Yeah.
And that keeping that kind of music alive, I mean, I'm sure there's someone out there that plays the clarinet that's like,
I do.
hey, they're still making this music. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, I do think it's funny. They're like, frankly, Sinatra still matters, and it's like, hey, I'm a Frank Sinatra salesman, and can you believe the demand of Sinatra?
You're not going to believe what just came across my desk.
In 2050,
Yeah.
Frank Sinatra demand is going to be up 500%.
I think there are some artists that are never going to go away, and he's one of those people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
New York is a classic.
He played at the end of the Yankees games.
That song is so good.
Not his best song. Not my favorite of his songs.
No, That's Life is my favorite song.
Really?
That's so good.
Just because it was used in the film The Joker?
No. Yes. I danced down the stairs to it.
Yeah. My favorite, go-to for Sinatra's a go-to karaoke for me because I have a baritone voice.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
So now you're going to be singing Shadows?
No, probably not Shadows.
Two shadows on the wall.
That's not bad. You're forcing a vibrato there, but that's better than I would have expected.
Yeah, I'm really good at it.
Yeah.
That sounded great.
This is good
That
single.
song is also about how that one of them shadows is a lady, and one of them's a man, and that man ain't me.
Out of 1,200 songs, he picked 6 about missing a lady
can't-
and 2 about other cities.
He tried his best. I swear he did.
He pulls one out. He's like, what's this one? It's called What a Wonderful Day. We have to do
Yes.
that one.
The What a Wonderful Day is probably the standout hit for me from that.
It's a good
because
song.
It's a very good song. It's very pleasant, and
Yeah.
it's very funny.
It reminded me, there's a Lonely Island sketch called Wonderful Day where Andy Samberg's clearly on cocaine talking about how great it is outside. It's like, oh, that's when he stopped drinking for a little bit and started doing coke in the 60s when someone wrote that song. I don't know. I thought it was fun. I thought it was interesting.
Yeah, it's not bad at all.
Yeah.
I would say 2 all around.
2
for both of them.
I'll take it 2.
If you like pop, I mean, these guys do a great job covering.
Yeah, it's a good
what pop
podcast.
is.
Out a couple times a week.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But if you like Sinatra, try out Seth MacFarlane, that's for
Yeah.
sure. You probably already knew that.
Yeah, and Seth MacFarlane, I like his voice. There's kind of that, I like him better than Bublé. I'll just say that.
Yeah.
I think he has a better voice than Bublé does. Yeah.
I don't know. I can't
Picture the Bublé.
tell, really, I guess. Maybe I don't listen to singers.
No one's ever going to sound like Sinatra, though. Like, his voice is just...
I don't know. When I hear people sing, I'm not, like, impressive. You know what I mean?
Really?
Yeah, if somebody's like, "Ooh, I'm like, okay, that's cool. That's nice.
Really?
Yeah.
I think it's super impressive.
I like, I just like screaming and like people,
Angry music.
people singing nice can be fun, but people who are like, watch me hit this really hard note for a very long time. I'm like, okay, we can do that. It's like watching the trumpet go off for like 2
First of
minutes.
all,
You're like, okay.
Trumpet's super impressive.
It's all impressive.
I cannot do the brass, the embouchure that you need to play a brass instrument. not very good at it. I was a double reedman in myself in band.
Yeah.
But-
Big oboe boy. Big oboe boy.
No, it wasn't an oboe. It was a bassoon, which is a big oboe.
You were a big oboe boy.
It was a bassoon, sir.
You were a bassoon mapoon.
A big oboe would be an English horn.
A big oboe boy.
I'm gonna let it go just because of how funny that is to say.
I was a trumpet man.
A trumpetman.
And then I was like, this is pretty boring.
I got a trumpet over there.
I'll play you taps.
I wish I had learned how to play the trumpet as soon as I found out about ska music.
Yeah.
I was like, you guys should have let me know that ska was a thing in 5th
You would
grade.
have been a completely different person.
Yeah.
You would be wearing checkered shoes right now.
I wouldn't be doing this podcast because I'd be on a world tour with how hot ska is.
You would be doing a different podcast called Skodcast. And you just talk about ska all
If
day.
that doesn't exist.
You'd listen to a thing called Skodcast?
No, but I'm just saying.
You think that's a good name?
Yeah. I'm going to look up on Spotify right now, see if there's a Skodcast.
I guess we're going to be a ska podcast coming soon. Because we brought up ska literally last time we talked.
Dude, I love ska. There's Scatcast.
Ew.
There's one called Skacootery.
That's not bad.
Not bad.
Ska
And
coonery.
then it goes to Stabcast. Then Smodcast. There's no Skodcast? There's a Ska Dads podcast.
Oh, I do have a podcast I want you to listen to.
What is it?
But I think you're going to get so mad at me.
Is it Ska Cootery?
It's called
M and Cat.
It's called Guys.
Ah,
Do you know Guys?
no.
So it's this guy, Brian, who takes his friends to see these different types of guys. Like the first one are like porn guys. So he just like finds comments and stuff on like Pornhub and reads them, or
Oh, Jesus.
reviews from that sex resort in Jamaica. He reads the reviews from there. So
Hedonism.
yes,
Yeah.
he just reads the reviews and stuff. Like people are like they keep draining the pool like twice a day type stuff.
Ew.
He has an episode where they cover Kevin Smith guys.
Really?
Yeah,
And
it's very, very funny.
I find myself to be a Kevin Smith guy.
Yes. And I have to say, I think Kevin Smith is a good dude.
He's a great dude.
I don't think so. They bring up the tweet, of course. You know what I mean?
About his wife.
Yes.
Yeah.
And it's still so funny.
It's an all-timer.
It's still so funny.
If there was a Twitter Hall of
But did
Fame
you
that
know-
had to be in like the top, I would say top 50 tweets of all time.
Yeah.
If you're making a list.
Still bone.
Yes.
It's so funny. But did you know he had a Patreon that you could get up to a tier where you can go to his theater that he has and watch a movie with him?
That's awesome.
That's crazy.
I mean, he's there a good bit. The one in Jersey.
Yeah.
I tried to get tickets for us for a screening of Dogma that he was at, but it sold out way too quick.
Damn. That would have been cool.
That was going to be a surprise. Take the train up there, watch Dogma with Kevin Smith.
That would have been very cool.
Would have been very cool.
I think Kevin Smith is a very cool dude. I don't like all of his movies, but
I don't like all of his movies.
and the Guys podcast, I might make you listen to
All
that
right.
episode.
Put
It's
on-
pretty funny.
I will say this. So, Ska Cootery, colon, the Ska-tastic Scodcast.
There it is.
But they released 4 episodes, with the last one in February of 2021.
Yeah, not too long ago.
Em and Kat, if you're listening, why wouldn't you just
Scodcast?
call it Scodcast? Why do you call it Ska Cootery, the Ska-tastic Scodcast?
I do like that you put ska in front of everything. That's a very ska thing to do.
First of all,
As to be like, coming up this Saturday, we have a Scodcast coming out with my Scod host. Right? That's so good.
and also Ska Cootery, the logo, has a checkerboard cutting board.
Now we're talking about.
I mean,
Scodcootery. That's
if you
so
don't get a
good.
checkerboard cutting board
This
and call
is
it a
so
Ska Cootery
good.
board,
This is so good. I'm not upset at all.
I might. Okay.
Are we just gonna listen
Yeah,
to it?
no. We're just going to go on a tangent. So there are 4 episodes. Episode 1. Happy Scala Days.
See? That's the ska.
That's the Christmas one.
Those are my favorite people right there, man.
Episode 2.
It's so good.
Episode 2, the New Year's one.
Happy Sky Years.
Nope.
Happy New Skiers.
Scald Din Lang. Lang Sign. Sorry, Scald Lang Sign. Scald Lang Sign.
That is good. That is good.
Episode 3. Riding the third wave of ska. They ran out of
damn
puns.
it.
That's why they had to cancel the podcast.
Damn it.
And episode 4 is Black Ska Musicians and Influences. So they
Cool.
had 2 great puns, put out 2, I'm going to say, top 10 podcast ever recorded.
If they should have kept the bit
Scald
going.
Lang Sign.
Scald Lang Sign is a great name. I'm so happy about that.
Gakuda Report's pretty great too.
Automatically, they get a rec from me
I'm going to follow them, and I hope they get a notification
that they got.
that they got a new follower.
That some people were like, "I'm looking for a Scodcast."
This was over 4 years ago that they put out episode 4.
Does it say how many listeners they have? How many followers they have?
There's no ratings.
Damn.
More like this. We couldn't find anything.
That's
yes,
right.
because Em and Kat are one of a kind. Happy Scala Days, everybody.
That is great.
Oh, what a good fun. I'm gonna legit listen to this and try to reach out
Absolutely.
to these people.
Absolutely, you should.
We should have Em and Kat on the podcast.
We haven't even listened to it. And I'm pretty sure we're their number 1 fans right now.
yeah.
Like, I legitimately love the name.
Scott Cootery, the Scott-tastic Scodcast.
Yeah, so good for them and everything that they're doing.
The About section says, do you love ska? Hate ska? Have no clue what ska is? No matter where you stand, this is the podcast for you. Em and Kat are here to give you a fresh take on the ska scene news, release breakdowns, and genre deep dives.
Aw.
Em and Kat doing the Lord's work on the Scott Cootery Scottastic Scotcast.
I'm happy to hear it, man.
It's so fucking good.
I hope they're doing well.
I wish them well. All right. So, yeah, thank you, everybody, for listening to the show. If you want to get in touch with us, you can write us upyouralleypod@gmail.com. Thank you to our buddies, Brother Bill, for letting us use their music. Let's find out what we're going to be talking about next week. Jake, what do you want to do?
I'm going to make you watch a movie.
Oh, I love movies.
You should love them. This movie took me by surprise.
Ooh.
It's called Past Lives.
Oh, you talked about this
Yep.
last week.
Yep. Watched the whole movie and I was like, this is really sweet.
Where
This
am
is
I,
really sweet. And then at the very end, I gasped. I was like,
Was it
I was a big sob.
just so
It
we
was
could
insane.
bookend this movie? Does it end like that one Robert Pattinson movie where it's 9/11
That
at
would
the
be
end of it?
it's the best.
Just to bookend this podcast
Yeah.
where we begin and end talking about 9/11. Just in case the algorithm's wondering, where it just scans the first 3 minutes of a podcast and the last 3. It's like, so they talked about 9/11 for an hour. And also the word ska pops up a lot. So this is a 9/11 ska podcast.
9 Skull 11. Can we do titles of our show now?
With ska?
9 Skull 11, please.
Is that the best one?
Yeah. Never ska get. Is that better? I'm good, dude.
Jet fuel can't melt ska beams.
Man, that's good stuff, dude.
Perpetrated by Osama bin Laden.
Oh, man.
Can we start a band called a ska?
That's a good one. Oh, man, dude. We could be in a ska band. You could be Osama bin Laden. I'll be Barack Osama. We worried the dog. My poor boy. That's good stuff, dude.
Dumbest thing we've ever done.
Dude, ska is so good. I don't even have to listen to the music, and I'm so in love with it.
Just put you in a good mood.
Yeah.
Okay.
We worried the boy.
I really, oh God, you were in for a
Duck
treat.
got up and
It's
came
been a
over
while
to me.
since we've had a cackle laugh like that on the podcast. Oh shit.
That's the stuff I like to do, man. That was fun.
Yeah.
Ooh. So, yes, the movie Past Lives.
Where am I watching that?
Oh, I'm sure it's streaming somewhere.
Somewhere. I'll find it.
But it's great. It's a great movie. It's about a couple of Korean kids, a boy and a girl, like each other. But the lady, she goes to Canada.
Little romancy.
Yes, it's a big romancy, but it's done very uniquely. I think the soundtrack is a major boost to this movie. It's so sweet and simple.
I'll take it. So
Yeah, you're off now.
no, now I'm happy. I was gonna make you go watch Jurassic World Rebirth, but I'm not gonna anymore.
Big boy.
But I am going to be seeing it next Thursday at 11 o'clock if you're interested.
11 o'clock.
A.M.
That could be doable. Yeah,
It could be doable. We'll make it work. So maybe we'll see Jurassic World.
I ain't against it.
Yeah. But I have a quick documentary for you to watch on Netflix.
Okay.
I remember this happening. Are you a member of the, does the phrase Carnival Triumph mean anything to you?
I don't think so. No.
What's your status on cruises?
I don't think I would go on one
Okay.
other than the one that goes around Alaska to see the Northern Lights.
Ooh, that sounds neat. So this is on Netflix. It's a documentary called, it's in a series of Netflix things called Trainwreck.
Yeah.
They have ones of the Cult of American Apparel, Mayor of Mayhem. That was about Mayor Rob Ford.
Oh, yeah.
Detroit.
Isn't he still mayor?
No, I think he died.
Oh, yeah?
I think his brother's mayor.
Oh.
Or he was mayor of Toronto. His brother's mayor of some other place.
Yeah.
Their big one that they started with was Woodstock 99 and how like Fred Durst started riots.
I watched that, right?
Yeah, so Trainwreck's that series.
Okay.
Of that. So their newest one is just called Trainwreck Poop Cruise.
Yeah, I remember that. Yeah, I remember that.
It's about the 2013 poop cruise.
Yeah.
Jake, there are interviews with people who are on the poop cruise.
Yeah.
I can't look away. The documentary's only an hour long.
Can't look away.
I've never been on a cruise. I never want to go on a cruise.
Yeah.
This proves my point.
This is the one where I was like, yeah, I'm really glad that I haven't been on a cruise.
The elevator pitch in this is that the cruise boat dies in the middle of the Gulf of Mexico, which they call the Gulf of Mexico, and this podcast will as well. And there's poop everywhere because nothing. So it's so flush. There's just poop in the hallways.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
You got to have a stomach for some of the parts, which I know you do.
I guess so. I didn't even tell you about the worst movie I've ever seen. I finally watched Zombie Ass, Toilet of the Dead.
No, that's not a thing.
Yeah, it is. From the guy who made Karate Robo Zabugar.
Why can't the zombie people with their puns have half the creativity of the ska community? Okay, so give me a pitch for Zombie Ass.
These creatures that crawl up your butt turn you into a zombie. This lady who hasn't farted since she was a kid knows karate is going to beat up these zombies.
Butt zombies.
So gross. It's unbelievably gross.
It sounds horrible.
I almost turned it off. I should have.
It sounds like it came to you in a dream.
They fight with the creatures like whips coming out of their butt. It's so gross.
Of course.
It's the grossest thing I've ever seen.
It sounds horrible. So I'm going to watch Past Lives, and Jake's going to watch Trainwreck Poop Cruise.
No, watch Zombie.
I'm not watching Zombie. Yes. I am interested in Past Lives. I do want to see it. After you sold it to me last
Past
time.
Lives is really good.
All right, so yeah, we're going to do that. Thank you, everybody, for listening. Please tell your friends about the show. That'd be awesome. Like and subscribe. We forgot to do that before all the 9/11 talk started. So yeah, thank you, Jake. Thanks for coming over. Love you, buddy.
Love you, bud.
Bye.